QT.
Today we have two special guests in the building, okay? They are one of my favorite podcasters in Birmingham, like one of my favorite podcasts, the baddest of the baddest podcasters right now.
Hey.
Okay?
Tell them.
Yes,
Tell them.
we have Mitz and Jordan from the Korean Chicken and Pasta Bake podcast.
Hey. Giving ourselves the
guys?
Round of applause.
How are you? How you doing?
All good, thank you. Bit tired from bank holiday weekend, but we're here.
Yeah, we can see you guys had a lot of fun.
Yes. And my voice is slightly croaky today because of the amount that I was projecting it over the weekend, so you're just gonna have to bear with.
I'm sure you guys were amazing hosts. Like, you guys are amazing at what you do anyway, so there's no doubt.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. But first off, I'd like to say thank you so much for like coming onto my platform. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, I was very inspired on like what you do and everything that you guys do, the podcast and just everything. I think you guys bring something different, like something unique. It's refreshing to actually watch you guys, because oftentimes we see like a lot of social media couples just doing the same old thing, glamorizing their relationships on social media. But with you guys, it's like you guys have proper conversations about what goes on in the culture, what goes on social media, what goes on with the world, and just random topics. So I had to like reach out to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. I see you doing your thing on YouTube. You're always putting out content. You know what I mean? You're always busy. So yeah, man, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? When Mitz told me,
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, that's people. Yes, we're going on the live."
listen, facts. Yeah, listen. There's not a lot of people I would talk. I want to talk to. There's not. I'll be honest. So when Mitch said it was you, I was like, nah, I like facts. You get me? I want to talk to facts. So we're fans of you. We're fans of you, definitely. Facts.
My heart just melted. Like, thank you guys. I really appreciate it because I'm a fan of you guys.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people want to know, like, how did the name of Korean Chicken and Pasta Bake come about?
Yeah, so basically, I wanted the podcast name to just be random and not really make much sense, because I don't think it was that important. I didn't really care about the name. So I was saying to Mitch, look, what can we call it that's just different, that's random? And we couldn't think of anything. I didn't want to call it, you know, the stereotypical podcast names like Man Them Talking or Off the Cuff or whatever. Everyone's got this own, you know, their own, you know, predictable names. So Mitz cooks Korean chicken. She's not Korean, she's Filipino. People think she's Korean. Mitz cooks Korean chicken, yeah. And I remember she messaged me on WhatsApp saying, babe, I've cooked some Korean chicken and some pasta bake. And I just liked the way that the words looked in the message. And I went, you know what, let's just call it that. And people will always ask what it means or what it's about. And it just starts a conversation. You know what I mean? So we went for that name, yeah.
Wow. You know what? Because I watch a lot of Mitz's vlogs. And I was like, wait, hold on. She's not Korean. She's
No.
How in the hell did they call it Korean chicken? I was like, I need to ask. Like, I was so eager to know. So I'm so glad that you guys explained it. But you know what? It's so random, but it's different. How long have you guys been doing the podcast? And what made you guys do it as a couple?
Yeah, so we started at, I started in 2018, but Mitz wasn't on it. 2017. End of 2017.
September 2017. Yeah.
But Mitz wasn't on it. It was meant to be me and my brethren just talking about our experiences in life and, you know, relationship talk and talking about girls and stuff like that. So the first episode is actually the first 4 or 5 episodes, Mitz isn't on it. It's me.
No, I joined episode 8 or 9, I believe it was.
Yeah. So some of the oldest episodes are interesting to go back and listen to because it's just so weird, the dynamic. And it was me and my friends talking. But then they couldn't keep doing it every week. I wanted to do it every week. And they was just messaging me saying, I can't make it. And I was always with Mitz. So I thought, okay, Mitz, do you want to try and do it? Mitz did a lot of episodes as a favor.
Yeah.
But then
she was, as a favor, as an understudy. I always call myself that. She
did it as a favor to me, so I thought, okay, cool. But she was really good though. So when we did it, she was good. You know what I mean? So I thought, do I want to do a podcast with my girl? Like, not really, because what if we break up? I'll have to, you know what I mean? It just complicates things.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do it. But it just made sense after a while because we were always together. So we might as well have just pressed record.
Yeah.
And just do it. You know what I mean? So that's how it ended up happening. And Mitz is just sick. So
thanks, fam.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, she can talk.
I wanted to ask Mitz, like, were you skeptical to do the podcast because they do say that don't mix business with pleasure, and like, were you afraid to put yourself out there as a couple?
Yeah, 100%, because what a lot of people don't know about is the summer before the podcast kicked off, September 2017, so July, August, we were on this show on E4. It was a Gogglebox spin-off called Gogglebox. So we had already had experience of working together in a creative space, and it did not go well. It did not. There were so many politics, but not between E4 and us, but between the both of us.
Oh, okay.
So in my mind, when Jordan said,
I don't think it didn't go well. You always say that.
No.
It went well. We got paid.
Yeah, no.
It was great.
No, but relationship-wise, facts, it wasn't great. Because from when Jordan is telling the producers, when they put your names underneath, underneath your shot.
Yeah.
And then they put your relationship, so others will have like mom and dad or husband and wife. Ours was best friends. I was like, best friends for what? We've been together 4 years. Best friends? Are you joking? He was like, no, it's good for the show. To the point where the producers had to call me and say, Mitz, Jordan said to call you guys best friends on on telly. Is that okay with you? And then I was like, hold on a minute. But I didn't want to come across unprofessional. So I just took an L and was like, yeah, best friends. And then as soon as the show aired, everyone literally flooded my DM saying, why does it say that you and Jordan are only best friends? Have you broken up?
We are best friends though.
We are best friends, but now it's a lie. Obviously it's a lie. So then for me, I was just like, yep, that's it. We're never doing anything like that again. You can basically get lost. Like, you mugged me off on national television, not doing it anymore. But obviously, I had to be there to like,
see facts, yeah. Let me give you the insight to what I was thinking. Yeah, so I'm thinking, all right, cool. Let's spice it up a bit, yeah. So if I tell the producers that me and Mitz are friends and I'm trying to like get with her on the show, they'll be like, oh, that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought that we there was no guarantees that they were gonna put us on the show. So I'm telling them different things to keep it exciting. She's assuming that we were just gonna get on the show. You never know. If I never did that, we probably wouldn't have got on the show.
No, they didn't ask us this fact until we were actually going to fully go on the show. Because this was on the show's edit.
No.
They didn't.
It wasn't guaranteed.
They didn't.
So I'm thinking, I've got my producer head on thinking, okay, what do people want to see? People want to see, what's it called? What do they call it? I don't know. Someone pursuing someone. So that's why I did it.
Do you know what's jokes though? We were not on Love Island. That's the joke. The joke was we were not on Love Island. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right then, you're mugging me off because when you make it in the clear, because again, the reason why I was on this show with him was because I was an understudy. Like, he was supposed to do it with his friend Rooney, this guy, and then Rooney couldn't. So then I stepped in thinking, let me do Jordan, like, let me be there for him, support his creative dreams. So in my mind, I was just like, okay, then when you blow, because that's who the producers really wanted. It was him. It was, they scouted him and everything. Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, okay, he's obviously said best friend, so that if anyone catches him on telly, he's off. Gone with the wind as soon as he takes off.
That was in the thought process. But anyway, we interrupted your whole process. Facts. Continue.
No, I'm enjoying it. I want to know more.
Continue, but it's funny in life. Yeah, Mitz always ends up doing being involved in whatever I'm doing. Like, I always try and not have her involved. Yeah, but she just ends up being involved. But she always ends up being good, which is hilarious. Like, I'll never consider her originally. But then once she gets involved, she's always the best person to have done it. So
do you guys regret? Do you guys regret that situation?
No. And since then, I've had respect put on my name, so that's all right.
That
can move past it.
Yes, because best friend, like, oh, that's an extreme.
See, you get it. You get it.
Why that's a big
but any girl would have been upset. Like, how is the producer calling you? But like, oh, let's put the times best friends like it's casual, like it's nothing, like.
Exactly.
And you basically answered my question, because I was going to ask you, like, you know, you could have asked one of your boys, you could have asked one of your friends, you could have asked anyone to be the co-host. But did you initially thought, like, no, Mitz is going to be an amazing, like, co-host? Like, did you know from at that point?
I don't know, like with podcasting, it's, you know, you have to try things out. Like, she was good, but we had to have like meetings about her being able to have conversations where I'm talking about like wild stuff. Like, I may be talking about my past and things that I've done, at the beginning it was difficult because you know, it's hard to separate, you know, your relationship from the discussion. So there was a lot of growing pains in the beginning where we would have a lot of arguments on the mic and off the mic about, you know, what we were talking about, because it was real. But obviously now we can almost talk about everything. And we always know that it's because we're talking about this because there's a podcast to do, you know what I mean? So we've got people to entertain, you know what I mean? So I don't know where I'm going with this. My boys were good though. Like, they were good.
Yeah, they were really good.
You know, I had a friend on there that called Tension that was really like extreme with his views, and he just couldn't do it every week. So that's probably why it didn't work out. But with podcasting, it's about consistency in it. So you want to pick people that you know are dedicated to it, or otherwise you've not got a show. You know what I mean?
But did you feel like at the back of your mind, like if you had your boys on there and say like you guys were scaling off, you guys were doing amazing, did you probably think perhaps maybe this probably isn't the right thing? Because at the end of the day, we've seen it, you guys have seen it with the whole Joe Budden, that whole situation. Did you probably think maybe you didn't want all of that situation happening? You know, you guys have been cool for so long, to bring business and friends together. Like, did you have any
it was always
doubt?
Yeah, it's always in the back of my mind. Like, I thought Mitz is a safer bet because Mitz is professional in it. Like, like my boys, like, even though they're hilarious, but I just can't. I don't know if they're gonna be there every week. Okay. So people think this podcast thing's a fun thing to do, and it starts off fun, but by the time you get to episode 100, not everyone's smiling, not everyone's happy now. Everyone's bored. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do this. So you've got to always think about, do you care about this podcast as much as I do? So, and Mitz does, you know what I mean? So that's what it's about. And that's what people don't realize in this podcast thing. You got to love it, like really love it.
And honestly, like the chemistry between you guys on the podcast, like the way you guys bounce off each other, the conversation that you guys have, like you can see it. Like you guys bring transparency, like I said to you guys before, it's refreshing, it's different, and I feel like that's why people gravitate towards you. But I wanted to ask as well, like, you know, years ago podcast wasn't really a thing. Now everyone and their mama are now doing podcasts, you know. So like, from your point of view, what is it that you guys bring different, like from where you come from? What is it that you guys bring different to the podcasting world?
Personally, for me, I think it's the dynamic, because a lot of people, if they were just to look at thumbnails and they knew, that we were together, a lot of people probably think it's like a YouTube couple show and whatever else. But then when you actually, click on it, listen to what's being said, it's really like, yes, we talk about relationships, and predominantly in the early stages, it was a lot about like men versus women, or, body count, all this, that. But the conversation's grown as the following's grown. So like the conversation's becoming much more mature, and it's not just about, oh my God, I love you, like I hate you today. Do you know what I mean? So personally, for me, that's what it is. It's you expect something before you click on it, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, actually, this isn't like that. This isn't my boyfriend rates my outfits out of 10 video. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, because when it comes to, the content that I'm putting out on a weekly basis with the vlog and stuff, it's a little bit more lifestyle. But for me, the podcast, it's like a respectful relationship that we have with each other as counterparts, not as boyfriend and girlfriend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
To be fair, what we do doesn't make sense. That's why we're not that successful. Our name doesn't make sense. The podcast name don't make no sense. The way we do it, we should really be doing like try-on hauls and all the boyfriend and girlfriend stuff. That's what we should be doing to get the views up. but it's just not us. We can only do what we want to do and ourselves. And facts, we're hilarious. We're hilarious.
No, you guys are
no,
funny.
we are. Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
we are.
when I tell you, like, when I be watching, I'll be like, listen, these two, like,
It's a comedy. People don't realize our podcast is pure It's only for comedic reasons. We have serious moments, but the core essence of it is to try and make people laugh. That's the core essence of the show, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be funny. So that's really the purpose of it, is to make people laugh. So it's not always we're not being serious a lot of the time when we're talking. It's jokes.
No, honestly, like, you know, I feel like for a lot of your viewers as well, like, when people, like, because you guys upload once a week, right? So I'm sure you guys upload like on the Sunday or the Monday, and obviously people are stressed out, people are tired, and sometimes people just want to have a laugh, and the first thing that people want to see is your podcast, because you guys do bring comedy, but obviously there's a balance, right? So I feel like, you know, it's amazing what you guys bring. Like I said, it's refreshing, it's unique, it's different, you know. We don't see it much often, you know. So I feel like, yes, you guys might not be bringing the views now, but it's different, it's authentic. Do you guys agree? Or
Yeah. I think it's good to take the long road in it, rather than try and go with what's popular, and just, you have to be yourself. That's all we're doing. So
and to be fair, there would be no consistency if it wasn't true to, like, if it wasn't true to us. There wouldn't be any consistency, because after, you know, after probably a month or 2 months of doing the, you know, for lack of a better term, the try-on hauls and the boyfriend videos and whatever else, that will only last, what, 2 months before you run out of stamina. You know
what, Fats? You know what? Yeah. People call us like a relationship podcast, which I get, you know, it's what it looks like on the tin. But we're actually artists. We're artistic people. So we're in a relationship, but we actually are artists. Like, when you actually look into what we do and our interest, who we talk to, it's a lot about art and expression, and, you know, so that's why I can't compare us to the relationship YouTube thing, because we're more than that. Like, we can do a lot more, like, you know what I mean? So people will find out as time goes on what we're into and what we're capable of doing, and stuff that we are getting involved in. So I don't know, man, there's a lot of layers to us. It's hard to explain, man.
Being in this podcasting world, do you feel like at times you got to be careful on what you say and how you say it, like the fear of being cancelled? Do you feel like the world is sensitive right now?
Yeah.
He's very, very easy to cancel. This guy.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
The early episodes.
But he's
now I don't even say my real opinions on things anymore.
No, that's a lie. You do.
Nah, you're not allowed to.
You do put your real opinions out there, but it's also about picking and choosing the topics correctly, if that makes sense. Not that it's really staged beforehand or there's pre-production that happens beforehand, but it's just being mindful of what it is that we want, like what it is that we can confidently speak about and sound eloquent speaking about, versus the things where, you know, with some ignorance you're gonna get cancelled. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And even when you are knowledgeable, like I've been put in the fire with the whole you know, like the movement for women and protect women and stuff like that, because I'm very passionate about that side of things, and I feel like I'm quite well versed when it comes to that. But then there were a lot of male viewers that had issues with the way that I was seeing things and the way that I put myself across, and in my mind it was so politically correct, everything that I was saying. And in my mind I was like, how could anyone go against this? But again, it's still, even with the best intentions, you still run that risk. Does that make sense? So there is always that fear of being cancelled, but all you've got to be mindful of when you're putting yourself out there is, you know, what kind of impression are you wanting to put off? How do your views sort of come across? And as long as you're not hurting anyone as such with whatever it is that you're saying, then for me, there's not too much fear.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. Yeah, it's a minefield now when it comes to doing what we do. Obviously, you know, when you're talking in public, you're talking in public at the end of the day. So you've got to be respectful to everyone's beliefs, everyone's way of life. But at the same time, you do have to convey your opinion, because that's what people want to hear. But it's like dodging laser beams, though. You know, you have to be really good at it. It's a skill. You know, you can't say things that are just disrespectful. So, you know, certain things are disrespectful to people's beliefs. and we're aware of that on the podcast because we have 9 to 5s. You can't say crazy things, but at the same time, you do want to say your honest opinion about something. So it's a fine, you know, balance, but it's, you know, it's the challenge.
And I think like where people go wrong when it comes to social media is they forget that there's an audience.
Yeah.
Because like we always joke about, you know, the podcast isn't that popular. There's only
It isn't.
Let me land. It's spoken. So for me, it's like people often forget who's watching on social media because people are analyzing. You know, they're thinking, oh, it's got to have 1 million views or a couple 100,000 for it to be seen. But then if you're really deep, like currently at the moment, the podcast on average gets around about 200 or so views every single week. And in my mind, I'm thinking if I was to sit on a stage with Jordan and talk about this stuff and I had 200 people in front of me, the way that I would project myself is different. So you have, as a content creator that speaks and gives opinions, you've got to be mindful that there's 200 people watching you at any one time. So
but we have audio listeners as well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I'm not going to put the numbers out there, but there's more than 200 people, babe.
Okay, there you go. He doesn't tell me the numbers. I just crack on.
No, but I totally agree where you guys are coming from, because I feel like, you know, we've seen a lot of people get cancelled for their opinions, for everything that they do. You know, some people have retracted, have, you know, apologized. Some people have been called out for actually saying like really offensive things, as they should. Like they should be getting called out. But, you know, as content creators, I feel like everybody's like very wary and careful on what they say, how they say it. And some people are just unapologetic, and they just say it like, I said what I said. And I feel like with you guys, like, I know Jordan, you said that before, you was saying how it is, but now you're very careful. Like even your recent episode that you guys did about Palestine, you was a bit like, I ain't touching that topic right now. I ain't doing it.
Because you know what it is, the worst thing is you can't speak ignorantly about something. I don't know enough to talk confidently about it on my podcast, and people said, you should say more and speak more. I was like, I would love to, but it's just not my area of expertise. You know what I mean? So I would, you know, respectfully bow out of that topic, and, you know, just say, I hope everyone, you know, there's peace and everything like that. So it just comes with maturity, man. As you get older, you realize,
especially with a topic like that's a very sensitive topic. You can't just be running your mouth and you have nothing to say. And I respected that, because a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm just gonna say just to raise awareness, but what exactly are you saying? Like, you know what I mean? So I totally get that, and I totally understand from a point of, you know, being a content creator as well. Like, you know, what kept you guys going through this podcasting journey, and do you guys feel like you're being overlooked?
Oh, come on, of course, man. Come on, man. You seen our clips? Come on.
Yeah, Jordan feels that way.
Hilarious.
Jordan feels that way.
Okay, so how do you feel, Mitz? How do you feel about it?
See, like I said, I don't really get told the numbers. I don't do all the analytics. I just show up and I just do what I've got to do for the channel kind of thing. My contribution is different to Jordan's contribution to the podcast, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm always very, very grateful for anyone that comes up to us, says, oh my God, we watched the podcast, any view, any like, any comment, any share, always very grateful. I don't think I feel as overlooked as you do. Obviously, it still comes with the territory, especially now that I head up the vlog on the side. So I'm a bit more aware of that, and I look into that in a little bit more detail. And for me, I'm thinking, oh my God, what can I do differently to attract more people to watch? But I personally don't feel like we're overlooked as such. I feel like a lot of circumstances have added rise to that, such as COVID, lockdowns, etc.
I think it's tough. I think it's tough, especially. I don't know. Are you from Birmingham?
No, I'm not from Birmingham, but I live in Birmingham.
Oh, you live in Birmingham?
Yeah.
Okay, so the podcast scene in Birmingham's just really starting. So, you know, so when we started, I don't know if there was another podcast. I'm not sure. I don't believe there was. And there may have been some kind of forms, but when we started, everyone was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what is this? that you're doing.
I even had no knowledge of it until I saw you guys. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. When I told people, it's just because we didn't do visuals till like 6 months in maybe. And when I told people it was just the audio, a lot of people were like, what? So I'm meant to listen to just this for an hour? Like the whole concept of listening to a podcast was new. You know what I mean? And I still think Birmingham we're quite late with things. So, you know, in London, there's how many podcasts? Thousands. And you know, a lot of them are doing well. Here, it's just starting to kind of bubble up, you know what I mean? So, it's going to take time. Hopefully not too much time. But the more podcasts, the better in it. So everyone can support each other's and everyone can go on each other's and build it, you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you're being overlooked?
I like how you got back to the question. I'm dealing with a pro. Yeah. I feel like what we do, I think that it's difficult to do. Like we've done how many episodes? 150 episodes.
Yeah, you guys have done a lot.
Yeah.
Lot.
It's
I
not
went
easy.
back and I was like, God, like you guys have been doing it.
Yeah, and we don't talk to anybody. Like we used to have guests. It's just me and her. It's just me and her talking, and we have to think of new things to say, new takes on different things. So yeah, I do think we're overlooked. I think we're very skillful at what we do. Yeah. Very confident and like, you know what I mean? And yeah, I would put us up against any podcast in my opinion. If you're gonna listen. I would put us up against it.
Yeah. It's not that I don't feel like that as such, but like for me, it's like if I think about these, I know myself. If I think that too much, I'll start to pity myself, and then I won't go on. Do you know what I mean? Right. So instead of feeling like, oh my God, like I feel not, because different people take that differently. So instead of me feeling like, oh, no one's watching the podcast, we're being overlooked, I just use it as a, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, we gotta work harder. Like,
we've got.
In all honesty, we're not doing enough.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're not doing enough. So at the same time, we can feel overlooked, but at the same time, you have to check yourself and go, bro, we need to do more. I know we need to do more. I've already got things. I know what we need to do to change things, and you know, so there's a lot of work to do. So
I feel like a lot of us need to know, because like I said, it seems like you guys work really, really well together. But what are some of the challenges you guys have had to face working together?
Oh God.
What
well, the day-to-day life of just living with each other is tough. And then you get to Sunday and you think, my God, what are we going to talk about today? Because I've literally chatted your head off for the entire week, especially through lockdown, because obviously we're not able to go out, socialize and take a break from each other. Then we're supposed to bring it on camera. So I think big challenge, especially over the past year, has been finding things to talk about, because alongside all of that as well, you're not getting to experience going out together, or, you know, just different things for you to bring that back at the end of the week and say, oh, remember when that happened, or remember when this happened, or this happened that week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I think for me, definitely the topics.
You're dodging the question though. She asked, what challenges have we faced?
Oh, as a dynamic. Sorry, I'm not listening to the question from.
I was listening.
I love that though. I like that. The fact that you elaborated, so I like that.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges?
No, because that's and in extension to that, sorry.
It's all right.
Because of the fact that sometimes we have absolutely nothing to talk about, it gets very frustrating. And there was like an episode a couple of weeks ago where it completely blew up, domestics, and there was no episode because it was it got very heated. And because I was frustrated, I didn't really want to do the podcast that day, because in my mind, what is there to talk about? He didn't really want to do it because he had other engagements later on.
Okay.
And we were running late and everything, and there was just nothing to talk about. So it just ended up blowing up into an argument.
See, Sunday mornings, that's when we record, Sunday mornings. It's got to be a perfect day. So, because if we get in an argument on the Sunday morning, we can't record later. So every Sunday has to be peaceful, because we know we're recording the podcast. So whatever Mitz wants, babe, you want that? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll do that. Because I know I need Mitz in a good mood, to get... But after the recording, we can argue whatever you want to do. We have to save it for another day. But on Sunday, it's podcast day. It has to be peaceful. We have to get along. That's the rules.
So basically what you're trying to say, that the dynamic needs to be on tact. Like, it needs to be on point for the podcast.
Because
we can't be having riff-raff moments before.
Yeah,
Like,
because if we argue, it's so difficult to transition from arguing to doing the podcast in the same day within the same hour. It's so difficult. It's so
But
difficult.
in the same respect, we have had arguments before recording, and because we've recorded, as soon as the episode's finished, because we've had to show up for the audience, we then forget about the argument that happened before we started recording, and then it fixes the Sunday. So sometimes, depending on the how deep the argument is, let's say for example we're bickering, we're frustrated at each other, we can still record. But if it got really, really deep, that's when we can't. And sometimes when you have like the frustration and the bickering, and then you have to sit down and be professional, an hour passes and you forget what you've been arguing about because you've just had to laugh and smile and discuss things. So then you carry on with that for the rest of the day.
oh my God, that's crazy. But I guess like, it's like one of the moments, it's like them testing time moments. Do you agree that it's one of the moments where you're being tested? Like, you know, is this really for you? Like, do you guys really want this? But it's like, you guys always go back to like, no, this is bigger than everything else. Like, we know we want to do this. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, and it comes back to the love of it. You got to love it. You got to love it. And Mitz clearly loves it because she puts up with my craziness. So she loves doing it. I don't know when she fell in love with doing it, but thank God she fell in love with doing it. Because otherwise she would have just said, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? So you really do have to love it, man. You really do, because we're not getting paid to do this. You know, you understand what we're saying. You have to have a passion until you can make an opportunity out of it. But till then, it's just all on love. That's all it is.
But I feel like even as like you guys being together, you said that you wanted to. It was your idea to do the podcast. So obviously, like, I think it's important to have a supporting system beside you, like, even though she's your co-host, but the fact that she's in your corner and be like, no, like, she's like as passionate as you are. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that you're gonna have a good supporting system around you, whether it's a significant other, a family, parent, whatever. But it's really important. I feel like with you guys, it's like you guys stick together. Even like when you guys host events, you guys are together. Like, I've seen videos, I'm like, nah, these are the best duo. Like,
that's gonna be the next thing we want to do. Like, we wanted to do live shows before COVID starts, but that's what we're about, man. Like, we're about parties. Mitz is a party head.
No, I'm not.
Mitz is
we
about
saw
it.
that little two-step dance on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah. So we hosting a party is nothing. Hosting a party, that's just natural to us. That's just natural to us. So yeah, man, it's good and it's good fun. Imagine we host parties. That's weird, isn't it? We host parties together. That's kind of weird.
I think that would be lit.
Cool.
You guys should do it.
Yeah. That's
This
what
summer,
we want to do.
I'm there. I'm coming. But obviously, other than being podcasters, you're also an artist. And you've dropped some freestyles. You also dropped another freestyle recently as well, and a visual as well. And by the way, Mitz, okay, actress, we see you. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how have you always had the passion for music?
Yeah, you know what, facts. Yeah, I got to a point in my life where I just thought I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do, like no matter what. So I think it was like a couple of years ago, I put out me and Maddie Saskia.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours, so she sent me some music. She kind of knew I rapped on the low, so she knew. So I sent her music back, and then she kind of got my confidence up to kind of like do it. Yeah. So since then, I've collaborated with like different people, like Landell, Maddie, Romy. But yeah, I got more music coming. I want to put out an EP. Before the end of the year, and yeah, I got some tunes coming, man. I got some tunes coming. So
are we expecting a summer tune coming up very soon?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. But yeah, man, I just do what I want, man. Whatever I want to do, I'll do it. You know what I mean? So the music thing is something I've always wanted to do, so I'm doing it.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. How do you feel, Mitz, about his music career?
I know I'm really, really happy that he started doing it, because obviously, like you know how he was saying earlier that there's a lot more to us than just being a couple, and like even just the podcast, there's more to us than just the podcast.
Yeah.
And I feel like for a very long time, I've always been like aware of how skillful he is with words. So it was always a shame that that wasn't being, you know, that wasn't being utilized. So to see him come into it, it's really nice to see.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of you. Well done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I must say, like, honestly, everything that you've put out has been.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah,
you like
it's amazing.
it, yeah?
Especially the one that you put out recently. It's very, like, the concept of it. I was like, oh, it was very interesting. Like I said, it's different because right now we're living in a world where, you know, drill music is literally like big right now. But sometimes we just want story. We want art. And I feel like that's what you bring.
Yeah, that's all I'm about. So that's the kind of music I'm about. It's got to be a moment. The music has to be a moment. And that's the kind of music I make, man. I'm too old for drill. I can't do the drill thing.
Actually, let me ask you, how do you feel about drill music?
It's good, man. I like it. I like it.
So you do listen to drill music?
Yeah, here and there. But yeah, man, the youths are doing their thing, man. I like it, man. I like it.
So what is like some of your like artists that you inspired? Like what made you, like what is it that, you know, the visuals, what inspires you to do visuals like that?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Well, that recent visual was inspired by Malcolm and Marie, the movie.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But
explain that. Why that? Why did you choose that creative direction?
I just think for me, hip hop music for me was always cinematic. Like I grew up on like Nas, Jay-Z, you know, Common, Kanye, you know, J. Cole, Kendrick. These are the artists I look at when they put something together. It's a moment. It's a big thing, and the sound of the music is jazz. It's classical. It's soul. So for me, rap music isn't just rap on a track. It's got to be like a movie. So when I made the Bakerloo freestyle, as soon as I heard it, I sat Mitz down. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be wearing a shirt, a tie. We want to be in this like the Malcolm and Marie. There's a movie on Netflix called Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah.
So as soon as I made the song, I said, let's reenact this and do it to the song. But that, for me, that's music. Music is what you taste, what you see. You know, it's everything. You've got to have the visual and the movie in your mind. When I write a song, I already know the movie. It's a whole movie. You get me? So that's the way I work when it comes to music.
So how did you feel, Mitz, when he asked you to be in his music video? I mean, it wasn't the first time, but the second time when he asked you to basically reenact with him and be in his music video, like proper act.
Well. Well, Pat, I happen to fall into these situations through.
She wasn't meant to be in the video.
So meant to be in the video.
I remember. So we watched the film Malcolm and Marie together, and we really resonated with the storyline, etc. Loved it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know that all the love bars are about me. So, like, you know, and I've gone past my toxic Mitz phase in life. So it's like, do whatever you want to do creatively, do that. So then when he came up with the concept of the whole Malcolm and Marie, I didn't even say, okay, so you're going to ask me to do it then. In my mind, I was like, so who's going to be your leading lady? Because if I had a couple of people in my mind who I envisioned could be the leading lady. And he was just like, oh, I don't know, like, you know, there's this actress, but I'm not sure. There's this other person as well, but I'm not sure. And it was all booked up. And the day before, the time of the video shoot changed. And he was like, the actress can't make the new time. So guess what? You're doing it. I was like, all right then. But in the back of my mind, I did feel a little bit salty because as much as obviously I want him to do his creative direction, whatever, when you really listen to the bars of the song, it doesn't matter. And you think, no, wait. And you think about the concept of the video. In my mind, I was like, oh, that would be cute if I could do it. But then in my mind, I was like, I'm not gonna tamper with his thing because we do a lot of things together.
Mitz can't be in everything that I do. Mitz has to be.
He wants to be there.
Can't do it all. Like, this is the last time now that she's in things. She does the podcast with me, yeah. But when it comes to music, What you want to be the video girl in all my music
No.
It's
I
gotta
didn't.
be.
Fats, did I say that at any one point?
No, you didn't. You
No,
didn't.
I didn't. Did
But
I say?
let's just face it. The music, she nailed it. She did amazing,
Oh,
right?
that's what's so funny about it. It happens every time. I didn't think she would be able to do it, so that's why I didn't ask, because in the video we had to act. We was acting,
Yeah.
and we were intimate. And at one point she was angry. We were arguing. And Mitz has never acted before. She's not an actress or an actor.
She has it in her. She's got that gift in
No,
her.
but
I never knew she could do it.
But
And then she did it, and she was incredible.
This is the thing. I think obviously Jordan is very, very supportive, but I feel overlooked by Jordan. So going back to the overlook thing, Jordan overlooks my talent. I never, for me, I never question his talent. If that's one thing that he wants, if there's one thing that he wants to do, go and do it. But I think there's a lot of doubt in his mind sometimes of how much I can show up. And that's fair enough, because I am very creative, you know, outside of the podcast. I'm very creative in my own way. And I don't think I do enough to basically reach my potential, my full potential.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I knew that I could do it. I just don't want to tamper with his vision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, when we got there and I showed up and I was actually a better actress than he was an actor, I just felt like, okay, do not ever overlook me ever again. Because this is the thing, it's like, as much as I'm not going to be in every single music video that he ever makes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is, who's going to be running around as your runner behind the scenes? Me. That's me. Early episodes of the podcast, before I even joined the audio, then joined the visual, I was the one operating at the back of the camera. I've always been there. I'm always there. So for me, it's just like I would appreciate sometimes if I wasn't overlooked as a support system more than anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like, don't underestimate the talent the girl has. We just keep it under wraps. We keep it calm.
So do you feel
good.
like he should probably ask you to do, like, not like overlook you when, you know, when it comes to certain things, ask you to do certain things? Like, if he wants you to do certain things, he should allow you to do it and not be scared, because you mentioned that you wasn't sure whether or not she was gonna be amazing at it, but it turned out.
You know what though, as well, it's like you know, I don't know whether people who have been following the podcast for a while have noticed, but there is a very, very intentional thing that we're doing, which is we're kind of not moving away from each other, but because we do so much together, it's also nice to do separate things. And I 100% respect Jordan as a creative to do his own thing, the things that he enjoys, and I don't need to be involved in all of that. Do you know what I mean? The way that I'm involved is I'm there as support, and I think it's the same way back to me. So yeah.
Which brings me to my next question, actually, because obviously I do watch a lot of your vlogs. One thing that I love and respect about your vlogs is the transparency, and which brings
too
me
transparent sometimes.
Like, which brings me to my next question, actually, because, you know, you recently spoke on, like, some of, you know, your growing up in the Philippines, and talking about the struggles that you went through moving here and the culture shock that you had to go through. Can you give us a little bit of a background on that for those who don't know?
Yeah, of course. So yes, I moved to the UK when I was 7. My mum migrated to the UK as a nurse. So in whatever hospital you walk into, I can guarantee that there's a fraction of Filipino nurses working. So my mum moved over 2002. We moved, and I've been in the UK since. And just in terms of obviously coming here, that was a huge blessing. Like, I just want to put it out there, because the title of that vlog was Growing Up Filipino in the UK, #StopAsianHate. And I'd first and foremost want to preface this by saying I appreciate how blessed and how lucky I am to have been, you know, taken from the Philippines, brought here to have a plethora of opportunities put in front of me. I know how blessed I am for that, and I've got my parents to thank for that forever, eternally grateful. But that doesn't take away from the fact that when you move somewhere that isn't home, you know, obviously you do suffer a great deal of explicit and implicit racism. And for me, a big part of what I was talking about in that video is the fact that I think there's a common problem with a lot of, not just Asians, but a lot of ethnic minorities, where if they have come to someone else's country and they've got somewhere to call home elsewhere, they kind of instill into their kids, you know, keep your head down, keep it moving, one day we'll go home. But that's not always the case. And for me, for ages, that was definitely me. I was subservient. I kept my head down. I never thought to fight back or stick up for myself. And yeah, like, I've just been trying to train myself out of that, and that's still very much a part of me that I'm trying to train myself out of, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's basically just a little bit about that.
But it was very interesting because other than that, you also like took us on a journey. You actually documented your parents in there, and like, you know, the culture, the food that you eat. Why do you think that's important? And would you pass that on to your children as well? Would you pass on the culture and, you know, everything that you've been raised and everything that you've been doing to your children? Like, why do you think that's important?
I think it's important to boast that because it echoes the exact thing that I'm trying to move away from, which is to lay low and be quiet. I feel like there is a lot of there are a lot of Filipinos actually who have a lot of influence in Hollywood, in music and everything, but we never hear that they're Filipino. Do you know what I mean? We never see that representation. And for me, I feel like we're very, very underrepresented. So it's important for me to share that side of myself, especially because so many people think I'm Korean because of the podcast. It's just like, let me set the record straight. Let me show that I'm proud to be Filipina. I'm an island girl through and through. That is who I am. That is why I have the personality that I have, and I'm proud to run with that. And as for the question about children and passing that on, my babies and me are going to be slagging him off in my language when they're growing up. So they're definitely going to get that Filipino-ness to them. Our children are going to be very cultured. But
I speak Bisaya, Tagalog.
He doesn't.
Yeah, man, I know a bit of...
Want him to speak?
Yeah, I know a bit.
I've tried. He's not interested.
I know a bit of stuff, you know. Mahal kita and, you know... Mahal kita.
Basically, I love you. There you go. That's the only thing he knows.
But my next question is, you know, you mentioned that, you know, you have your own creativity, you have your own creative, you know, things, aspirations that, you know, that you want to do. Can you share that with us? What is it? What more do you want to do other than the podcast and the vlogging?
Well, for me, it's, you know what, being completely honest, I think my curse is like, I'm good at everything, but I'm not good at one thing. So I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. And that's always been kind of my downfall, because I feel like I dabble in a lot of things, but I'm still really and truly on a journey where I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do. Like, you know, I can, when I was younger, I did a lot of singing, and I can sing, but I realized I'm not an artist. I don't want to create music. I'm karaoke, and that's as far as it goes. Love that. Do you know what I mean? That's my party trick. Obviously with the whole vlogging stuff, like I really have a passion for the way things look, aesthetics, but then that can be anything. That can be in fashion, that can be in makeup, that can be in skincare, that can be in consumerism, product, everything. So for me, I feel like going on the podcast has helped me really understand that that's one thing that I love. And then doing the vlog, I'm growing more and more in love with doing that, and that's becoming part of my routine. And I'm sure that eventually I'll stumble upon something that I want to continue to do, but I don't think that I want to kind of put a cap on myself and say, this is really what I want to do. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't know.
I think that's a good thing, though.
I don't know.
You said jack of all trades. That's a great thing. I think that's a great thing, being able
to... definitely. And you're still young. You're still figuring things out at the end of the day. So... you know, at this point, do you feel like you're not going to put pressure on yourself? You're just going to, like, see how things go and see, you know, what works and what doesn't work for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. And for me, I think the crux of it all is the fact that I just love to talk. Like, that's me. So whatever it is that I end up doing, it will be to talk, and it will be for for a positive impact. That's it. That's all I can guarantee. But in what forum, in what kind of way, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Would you do a separate podcast?
Would I do a separate podcast? Do you know, I've really contemplated doing like a female only. I would love that. But then at the same time, that it would be great. But then at the same time, it's again finding who's going to be the perfect person to do it with. Does that make sense? Because it can't just be anyone and everyone. It's got to be someone that you know is going to be committed to the cause.
Yeah.
Will be there every week without fail. Someone who you can trust, that you can, have good business with. Because as we discussed earlier on the live, mixing business and pleasure, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've got to find the right person to do it with. And I'd only need one other, but that's not an easy task. Or it could be two. Who knows?
I've been trying to get to do
something like that. I definitely do. Yeah. I see you doing something like a podcast, because when I watch your vlogs, like you're talking, you're like showing everything that you got going on. Like it's amazing to see. Like it's nice to see that even though we love seeing the podcast together, but you doing it yourself, it's nice to see just the Mitz segment, like, and what Mitz goes through on a day-to-day, or what she does during the week. And it's nice to see that, and having that transparency moments, talking about your salary and your job and everything that you do. It's because you also bring some insight on a lot of things, a lot of topics, and it's nice to see that. I feel like a lot of people can relate, a lot of women can relate. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. You know what? It's so. I couldn't believe the second installment of the vlog. I think it was. I couldn't believe how impactful showing my bloated stomach would be on camera. Like, everyone was like, "Go, girl!" Da, 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 da. And I do agree. Like, I feel like for me initially, when we were talking about should I do this vlog, should I not do this vlog, and Jordan was a big kind of push for me to do it. I was very scared of doing it because of the fact that I just didn't think people were going to be interested. But lo and behold, if it reaches 50 people in the week and someone can relate, that's good enough for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had so many different responses, because like you said, it's good to be on the podcast, but sometimes we can't always talk about, periods on the podcast and hormones and the pill on the podcast and all of this, that, because it's gotta be common ground for me and him. Yeah. So
we can talk about that.
We can talk about that, but not in like, because you know how when I'm on the
not
vlog,
in detail, you mean?
When I'm on the vlog, I speak to the people on the other side as if you're my friend. That's what it is. So for me, the way that I would talk about periods and hormones and insecurities as a woman would be different. Yeah, exactly. It would be different, because I wouldn't have anything sort of counteracting that. It would just be me talking, someone listening on the other side, and that comes across very different to when you're having a conversation about those issues. So yeah.
No, honestly, we love it. I hope you're enjoying it.
I am,
because I feel like I think you should do it like more often as well, because I feel like they're very interesting. Like when you talk about the products they use, I'm like, ooh, okay. Like, a lot of people can learn from it, so I feel like you should definitely like do like more of things like that. 100%. Like, but I wanted to ask both of you, what's next for the Korean Chicken and Pasta Bake podcast? Like, what does the future hold for you guys? Any ventures? Let us know, because we need to know.
Obviously, more episodes.
Of course.
I don't know. We want to do a show. We want to do a live show. We've been talking about it, but then COVID hit, and then but that's definitely something we're gonna do.
We're looking forward as well to, what's weird is like you're saying what's next, and I think what's next is it kind of reverts back to what we were doing before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not in our minds, it doesn't feel like a what's next. It feels like, oh my God, we've been waiting, like this was happening before it stopped. Now it's starting again. So like even things like getting guests back on, because you're allowed to have people indoors with you now and stuff like that. Yeah. That's going to be really exciting. And obviously like what Jordan said earlier, you know, we do the podcast out of the love of the podcast, and everything, production, everything is funded by us.
Yeah.
So things like getting more equipment so that we can host guests and we can have crisp audio, that's coming. That's on the way.
Ooh, yes.
And I think with things just reopening, we're just going to be like, we're gonna be about, that's it. Like, you're gonna see us everywhere. That's our plan. Like, we don't want to stay in.
This is the first I'm hearing about that. Like that.
We've spoken about this.
I'm joking. But yeah.
Like, as well, because we've been stuck inside for so long, I feel like a lot of creativity has come out. A lot of things that we want to do has come out. So I feel like it's very amazing the fact that you guys are like willing to do everything and anything, because I feel like I said, like, you're being overlooked, and I need you guys to be out here creating all these live shows, because I need to turn up to every single one of them.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But anything else? What else have you guys got going on? Any more music, Jordan?
Yeah, music. Expect some music coming soon. An EP. I'm dropping an EP by the end of the year.
Ooh, okay.
God willing. And yeah, man, we're just focusing on the podcast. Obviously, Mitz's vlog every week. Just grafting, just working. You know how it is.
Definitely. But with the EP, like, what can we expect with the EP?
Soulful music, man. Soul,
Ooh.
some soul. Something that you can just put on some incense and, you know,
some incense.
A long drive. Is that the word? Incense,
yeah.
No?
Imagine.
Some sage.
Imagine last night.
That's the kind of music I want to make.
I put on some incense for the very first time, and now he's saying his music is incense music. Like, I just cannot deal with
him. Some incense, some oils, you know.
That
kind of music, man. Slow dance with your lady or your partner.
Okay.
And, you know,
so
listen
all
to
the
some
couples
good.
out there need to be ready then. Like,
yeah, man. Some good lyrics, man. Yeah, man.
Any collaborations?
Of course. But obviously, you know what I mean? It's a secret, man. It's a secret.
Will Mitz be appearing in one of the visuals?
She already no.
No. But you know what? I'll definitely ask for a credit at the end, because I said, like, I'm gonna be a runner. So you know the credits at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Runners, my name underneath.
Thank you guys for coming today to my platform.
Oh,
I know you guys
of
are
course.
busy, and the fact that you guys took time out of your schedule to come on here, I really appreciate it. Any last words? Where can the people find you? Let us know.
Yeah, Korean chicken and pasta bake everywhere. There's nothing else in the world called
KC and PB.
Called what we're called. So as soon as you type in Korean chicken, and we'll be there. You know what I mean? So KC and PB on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, everywhere. And for music, Jordan Emmanuel on Instagram. Yeah.
And our content drops every single Monday, as well as Thursdays for my vlog. But yeah.
Yes, we love the vlogs. We love the vlogs. But thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. And I shall see you guys on the next episode of the podcast.
Yes, for sure. You're going to have to roll through when we get our mics sorted.
Yeah.
You will have to
come and co-host. Come and do a co-host spot with us.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. We got to do that.
Thank you guys so much. But have a great evening, guys. And
you too, my love. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.